All right, let's talk about a tester's secret weapon. We're going to unlock how to find those super sneaky bugs in your application by really understanding SQL data types. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. It's the end of the sprint, you're just about to ship, and bam, some totally bizarre bug pops up out of nowhere. It's so frustrating. Well, what if I told you the problem isn't always in the code you're looking at? A lot of the time, the real troublemaker is hiding in plain sight, right there in the database foundation.
So in this explainer, we're going to drag that invisible culprit into the light. You're about to get the skills to spot these problems way before they turn into a last-minute fire drill. Let's dive in.
It all starts with a really simple idea. Just picture your database columns as a bunch of labeled storage boxes. So, a SQL data type? It's just the rule for each box. It says, hey, this box is only for numbers, or you can only put text in this one. It's what stops you from trying to stuff, a giant watermelon into a tiny shoebox. So why does this matter so much for you as a tester? Well, are the rules actually being followed? Because when the wrong stuff gets into the wrong boxes, that's where the chaos begins. We're talking broken validations, weird data conversions, and even those mysterious performance slowdowns that nobody can figure out. To hunt down these bugs, you're going to need the right tools. So let's break down the 3 most essential data type tools you'll be using every single day. First up, we've got the bank safe. Think of this as the place for your most valuable, precise data, your numbers. Now, inside this safe, you've got different compartments, right? Int is for your basic whole numbers like a user ID or how many items are in a card. Decimal is absolutely critical for money. It prevents those weird rounding errors. And then you have float for more complex scientific stuff. Every number has its proper place. And this right here, this sums it up perfectly. If a field is supposed to be a number, like a quantity, but the app lets you type in the word 5, that's a bug. That's a broken lock on the bank safe, and it's your job to find it. Okay, our numbers are secure. Let's move on to the next tool in our kit. This is the file folder, and it's designed for all your text and words. The varchar is like one of those awesome expandable folders, perfect for things with different lengths, like someone's name. Text is for when you need a much bigger folder. Think a whole blog post. And char? That's a folder with a fixed size, which is great for something predictable, like a 2-letter state code. Now, as a tester, your job is to push this file folder to its absolute limit. What happens if you try to stuff a 200-character name into a folder built for 100? Does the text just get chopped off? Does the whole app crash? What about extra spaces at the beginning or end of an email? These are classic and critical edge case bugs. And for our final essential tool, let's grab the calendar and the stopwatch. This is for everything that has to do with time. This one seems straightforward, but boy is it critical. Date just stores the day. Time just stores the time of day. And date time, or timestamp, that captures a very specific moment, combining both. And it's a perfect example of how much that precision really matters. Oh yeah, this is where the really sneaky bugs love to hide. Time zones are a legendary source of headaches for developers and testers. But also, just think about invalid inputs. What does your system do if someone tries to enter February 30th? Does it handle leap years correctly? These are fantastic places to go bug hunting. Okay, theory is great, but let's put these tools to work. Let's look at a real-world example you've probably seen 1,000 times. Here we go, a simple users table. You can see all our tools in action, right? We've got our int for the user ID, varchar for the text fields, and so on. This is basically the blueprint for our data. So, how do we break this? Let's put on our tester hat. First, we attack the age field. It's supposed to be a number, so let's try to shove the word 20 in there. The system should reject that nicely, not just fall over. Next, let's stress out that email field. The varchar limit is 255 characters, so let's try to jam 256 in. What happens? Does it get cut off? Do we get a clear error? And finally, let's test the rules. Is active defaults to true? So if we create a new user and don't even mention is active, does it correctly set it to true for us? This is how you systematically test that blueprint. Now that you've seen the tools in action, let's lock all this in with a few golden rules that should guide all of your testing. These are your takeaways. First, always ask, what is this column supposed to accept? Understand its purpose. Second, test the boundaries like your job depends on it, because it kinda does. Go too big, too long, wrong type, all of it. Third, Keep an eye out for weird symptoms. If you enter a 1 and it shows up as 1.00, that's a huge red flag for a data type mismatch. And finally, just remember, getting the data type wrong is a recipe for hidden bugs, performance killers, and corrupted data.
And look at that, a perfect little cheat sheet to keep in your back pocket. For any number, try to put text in it. For any text field, push past the length limit. For any date, try an impossible one. And for any true/false flag, always check that default value. These are simple tests that find really powerful bugs.
So there you have it. Data types aren't some obscure thing just for developers. They're the invisible rulebook for the entire application. And now, you know how to read that rulebook, and more importantly, you know how to challenge it. The only question is, what hidden bug are you going to find tomorrow?